We got it done. We got the dub. The Bills beat the Jags 27-24. Welcome in, Bills Mafia. It's wildcard time. Oh, and good news. We're going to the divisional. Bills Postgame starts right now. Let's get rolling. Welcome to Sports for Beginners. This is the show where I cover the Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Blue Jays, and take you on a journey through the world of sports. From the fans' perspective, here is your host, Scott McGregor. Let's have some fun. My Lord, Bills Mafia, welcome in to Bills Postgame, our wildcard edition. Bills versus the Jaguars. My Lord. First of all, Bills Mafia, I gotta give glory to God for getting us this win. Glory to God for the win. Wow. I mean, if you saw Saturday's action in the football area, which we're going to get to before we even touch this game, because we got a couple other games to look at, including tonight against, I should say not against, the Chargers against the Patriots. Wow. I don't even know what to say other than welcome in, Bills Mafia. How you doing? We got ourselves a football team. Wow. Like, I don't know how many times I'm going to say wow on this show. I really don't. Bills beat the Jags 27-24, as we mentioned, but oh my goodness me. If we thought Sunday is off to a banger start, which it is, by the way, Wildcard Weekend was off to a rousing start. That's where we're going to start this show. Wildcard Weekend was off to a rousing start. We got close ones between the Bears and the Packers. Close ones between the Rams and the Carolina Panthers. Both teams, Carolina and Chicago, hosting their playoff game. Carolina, and not so lucky, they finished the regular season 8-10 season, but in the postseason they dropped that playoff game to the Rams, which means they are now out of contention for the postseason. The Rams, however, improve to 13-5 as they move on in the wild card. 9-1 are the Green Bay Packers as they fall 31-27 to the Chicago Bears, who go to 13-6. But technically it's 1-0 for the Bears. They beat the Packers in a thriller, 30-27. The Panthers, they had it, but the Rams pulled the oh my goodness on Carolina to win 34-31. I think the closest game you could get would be 27-24, Buffalo over the Jaguars. But we'll see what other showdowns have in store here for Wildcard Weekend. We still got two more games in the AFC. The Steelers taking on the Texans tomorrow. Tonight, it's New England and the Chargers. Let me bring this up quickly before we jump into our game. Starting off with our inactives, let me jump in quickly. If the Patriots win this game, the Buffalo Bills, who have defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars, will be heading to Denver to take on the Denver Broncos. But if the Chargers win, it will be either the Steelers or the Texans that will play the Buffalo Bills next week in the divisional round. Hey, good news for Bills Mafia and Bills postgame. If that, we're moving on to divisional weekend after this game. Speaking of this game, let's get right to it. And honestly, there's a lot that we need to talk about. Let's get into our coaches. We know the quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence. We know those two guys. Yes, we know them. We know Josh and we know Trevor, but our coaches. We got experienced head coach of your Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott, in the postseason one more time. Jaguars under first-year head coach Liam Cohen, and what a spectacle Jaguars and Bills was. Out for the Bills in this one, they list 7 players inactive, including linebacker Terrell Bernard, safety Darnell Savage, running back Ty Johnson, cornerback Maxwell Hairston, he did not play, tackle Tylan Grable, tight end Kilelki Latu, and defensive tackle Larry Oganobuji. Sorry, Larry, I'm trying to get your name right. I really am. I'm very sorry for that. So I'll go with Larry O. Sorry, Larry. I'm trying to pronounce your name correctly, so I'll try one more time. Larry O. Kanojbi. Okay, I think I got it right that time. But Larry, if I did pronounce it wrong, sincerest apologies in advance. He was out for the Bills. The Jaguars list the following players not eligible to play. Wide receiver, De'Ami Brown. Running back, DJ Dallas. Offensive lineman, Cole Van Leany. Tight end, Hunter Long. Defensive lineman, Emmanuel Agba. And defensive tackle, Mason Smith. If I have pronounced anybody's name wrong on any of the two sides, sincerest apologies. All right, before we get down to business, one quick thing, just one. Jacksonville, congratulations on a spectacle of a season. You ultimately will finish the season 13-5. Bills improve to 13-5. They move on to Divisional Weekend. That is one, Bills Mafia. That is one, but we still got a lot to go over. Okay, with that said, I want to congratulate the Jaguars on a great season under quarterback Trevor Lawrence and first-year head coach Liam Cohen. Didn't go the way you guys wanted it to, but that's okay. That's why we play the games. Speaking of playing the games, let's get to it. We are going to go ahead and share our screen and get through the first half before we take our first break. Actually, you know what? Let's take our first break now. We'll get to the first half and second half in our second segment of our show. In the third segment of our show, we'll keep an eye on the out-of-town scoreboard, mainly the games on Sunday because we already went over the games on Saturday, which, by the way, both were thrillers and both came down to, I don't want to say missed field goals, but the Bears game definitely came down to that. We'll see. We will see. We will see. But with that said, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we get into it. Josh Allen leads the Bills over the Jags, 27-24 your final. Don't go anywhere. Bills postgame is back right after this. Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Hey everyone, it's Scott McGregor here. Join me weekly right here on Sports for Beginners for weekly episodes, your weekly dive in around sports news surrounding the Toronto Blue Jays, Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Raptors, and more. We'll have guests on a week-to-week basis, and so much more. Lots of great conversations coming. Be sure to subscribe to our show so you never miss an episode. And with that, make sure to like our Facebook page, Sports for Beginners Podcast 87. Just type that into your browser, and you should be sure to find our Facebook page. We'll also provide bonus content. It's going to be a dull moment you'll never want to miss. Check out Sports for Beginners with me weekly for daily news around the sports league, surrounding my favorite sports teams and yours, and so much more. Until then, we'll see you at action time.
Hi, Scott. It's Ali here. I just wanted to mention that I'm really enjoying the show and I'm really enjoying what you're putting together. And I wanted to just say I'm enjoying being a part of it as well. So please keep up the phenomenal work and make sure you guys keep this podcast going because it really suits you well.
I wonder if I could make it. It's almost getting to 8 o'clock p.m., and I am still a few more steps away from home to get to my computer to listen to CNT Radio's Cosmopolitan Culture Club. The best of the best music from around the world. Can't wait. I think I made it. CNT Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time. Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
World Series title. The Buffalo Bills have their first road playoff win. First time since 1992. I wasn't even born yet when this happened. You have got to be kidding me. I'm alive when the Bills get their first road win in what feels like forever? Wow. Well, you know what Coach Marv Levy says? There are two things he says, Bills Mafia, even when it's cold outside. What does he say? Oh yeah, when it's too tough for them, it's just right for us. And there's another thing Marv Levy always says, and he says this in the locker room. Where else would you rather be than right now? The Buffalo Bills first win. Let me quickly go over this from NFL on CBS. The last time the Bills played and won on the road was a 29-10 victory over the Miami Dolphins in the AFC Championship game of 1992. Since then, 95, 98, 99, 2017, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2024, the Bills have lost those games. They lost in the 95 wildcard game, 40-21, to the Steelers. Dolphins got their sweet taste of revenge, even though it was in the wildcard, 24-17, over the Bills, eliminating the Bills. 1999 against the Tennessee Titans. Bills lost 22-16. Playing the team they played this year in 2025's NFL wildcard, even though we're in 2026, they lost in 2017 to the Jags 10-3. In 2019, they lost 22-19 in that wildcard showdown, and then both the divisional and the two AFC championship games, both in 2020 and in 2024, they lose to the Chiefs 38-24, 32-29 in 2024. In 2020, they lost 38-24 in the AFC championship game. And in 2021, divisional round, They lost 36-42 to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's been a long time since their first dub, which came back in and on the road in 1992, the year the Blue Jays won their first ever World Series. I wasn't even around when that happened. All right, a lot to get to here. Let's get right to it. Starting off in the first quarter, here we go. You ready for a crazy day of football? I certainly was nervous, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was nervous going into this ball game against the Jaguars. Not just for Matt Prater, but for the entire team. Speaking of whom, Prater good to go. Hits a 50-yard field goal with Reed Ferguson as the holder and Mitch Winskowski as the holder. Center was actually Reed Ferguson. Nonetheless, Prater hits a 50-yard field goal. Bills start with the lead, 3-0 after 1 quarter of play. Bills take down the Jets to open the game, 3-0 after a quarter of play. Second quarter of play rolls around. Trevor Roll, here we go. He finds Brian Thomas Jr. for a 3-yard score. Extra point by their own weapon in at kicker in Cam Little. Good. 7-3 Jaguars in the lead. But guess what? Josh can use his legs, and he does so here later in the second quarter. Allen, right tackle. 2-yard score. Prater, extra point. Good. Bills in front. 10-7. First lead change of the game. That is where it would be at the break. 10-7 at the break. Bills get the ball to start in the third quarter, but teams trade field goals. First, Matt Prater, 47-yard field goal. Good. Makes it 13-7. Buffalo. Buffalo is up by 3 at the half. Bills on top by 6. But later in the third, Cam Little. Back to a 3-point game we go as he hits a 43-yard field goal. 10 Buffalo. So that doesn't give Jacksonville the lead yet, but they take the lead heading into the fourth. I should say at the beginning of the fourth quarter. In the fourth. At this time, it's still in Buffalo. Lawrence to Parker Washington. 6 yards for the score. Jags on top, 7-13 in the fourth quarter to kick it off. It was 13-10 Buffalo at the end of 3 quarters of play. Moving right along in the fourth. First scoring play of the game for the Bills in the fourth quarter. Josh to Kincaid for 15 yards and a score. Extra point. Matt Prater, up and good. By the way, I should mention Cam Little, extra point after the Parker Washington score, good. And also there was an injury on that play. We'll get to that in a second. Once we're through the fourth quarter. Now it's 20-17 Buffalo. 20-17 Buffalo. Now Trevor's got the ball. He finds Travis Etienne. He finds Travis Etienne for a 14-yard score. Extra point by Cam Little. Good. 24-20. Jags back in front. Now late in the fourth. Alec Anderson reported as eligible. Josh. He did it again. He did it again with his legs. 1-yard touchdown. Josh goes to the left guard. He does it again. 1-yard touchdown. Extra point by Matt Prater, who was one of the questionables here as to who was going to start for the Bills at kicker. Extra point by Prater. Good. Bills up 27-24. And they get a game-ending interception late in the fourth. Pass intended for Jacoby Myers. Intercepted by Cole Bishop. That led to 2 kneel downs. And thus the Buffalo Bills were going to get out of Jacksonville with a final score victory of 27-24. Wow. Holy Mackinac. Wow. I got this. I got so much more to get to here, fans, but I gotta say, now that we're through the scoring, I gotta say, Sunday in Wildcard Land in the NFL playoffs is off to a rousing start. And I just can't wait to see how Monday and the rest of Sunday today, as we are recording this on Sunday, January 11th, 2026, I just can't wait to see how it all goes. I cannot wait. We're going to take a break. When we return, the game stats from the game, plus we'll go inside the Bills locker room to hear from head coach McDermott and the gang after they beat the Jaguars in a wild one. A perfect fit for Wildcard Weekend. Wild one. I mean, the first two games on Saturday were wild. Now you got the first game done in Sunday, which was Bills and Jaguars. That was a wild one. How many more wild ones are we going to get? To be honest, I'm telling you right now as we go to break, I'm going to tell you right now, I think the whole weekend's going to be a wild one. So with that being said, we'll return to Bills Postgame in a moment. Stats for the game coming up via the CBS Sports app and then via shared screen. Coach McDermott and the Bills, after a 27-24 victory, wild victory in Duval in Jacksonville. We got so much to get to, but the stats are coming up next as we break this game continually down from Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida, in Duval. But the Bills beat the Jags 27-24. Be sure to stick with us. Stats, McDermott's victory speech, and my overall thoughts on the game, and much more when we return to Bills Postgame. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo. Two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
Hey Pens fans, this is Scott McGregor, host of Sports for Beginners, On the Ice and Behind the Benches, and co-host of On the Ice and Behind the Benches, host of also Weekly in Sports, and many of the other programs on Sports for Beginners. Join me every week after select Penguins hockey games over the course of the week for Penguins Weekly Recap, a new kind of show airing weekly on Sports for Beginners. Next season, we wanted to try and do it this year, but we'll do it next season. That's Penguins Weekly Recap, coming soon to Sports for Beginners, the podcast. You won't want to miss it. See you there, Penguin fans.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
The Buffalo Bills, as we welcome you back into Bills Postgame, dropped 27 on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They beat the Jags 27-24, your final score. It's Buffalo's first playoff win since the Blue Jays beat a team to win their first ever in franchise history, first ever MLB World Series. The last time the Bills won was 1992 when they beat in the AFC Championship game. They beat the Miami Dolphins 10 back in 1992. Stats coming up for you in just a second from this game. But first, here's a stat for you. Josh Allen, in his NFL playoff career, without a Super Bowl start, he doesn't have a Super Bowl start yet. He has become a quarterback in the NFL with 8 playoff wins in his career, which is the most by an NFL quarterback without a Super Bowl start. Allen's path and the Bills' path to Super Bowl 60, which is the Super Bowl this year. He's got past the wild card round, which is the Jaguars. We're going to hear the victory speech in moments. But he's also going to have to take on Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, or the Houston Texans, or if the Steelers beat the Texans, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. If the Texans lose that game, and let's say the Patriots win against the Chargers later this evening, well, then the Bills will be heading to Denver, Colorado to take on the Denver Broncos, who are, as we speak, on a first-round bye. They not only succeeded in grabbing their division title, but in doing so, they also clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC. So they will await their opponent, which will either be Buffalo or the Chargers, and Buffalo will either face Denver or the winner of Pittsburgh and Houston. Check in on our Sunday action. The Philadelphia Eagles leading right now 13-7 over the San Francisco 49ers. Eagles came in with a regular season ending record of 11-6. Ending season record pretty much the same for the 49ers and the Bills, 12-5. And the Niners right now trail the Eagles 13-7 in the second quarter. As we mentioned, the AFC wildcards still to come are the Chargers at the Patriots. Records are 11-6 and 14-3. And of course, 12-5 Houston Texans against the 10-7 Pittsburgh Steelers. Buffalo will face either Denver if the Patriots win, or the winner of Houston versus Pittsburgh. We will see. But hey, one thing that we can be happy about as we roll on here, we got the dub. We got the big dub. And it's a huge dub in franchise history. First playoff road win in Bills franchise history since 1992. I wasn't even born then. Plus, this show wasn't even born yet. I think it's about time we go inside the locker room and hear from Coach McDermott after quite a crazy, my goodness, game that we were lucky enough to win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Coach, before I get to stats, take it away. Simple, to the point. Preach, Josh, preach. We didn't blink. We'll have a link to the game. We will have a link to it for you in our description of the episode. Reminder, if the Bills wind up playing the Denver Broncos, it will be because the Patriots beat the Chargers, and the Bills will be playing either Houston or Pittsburgh if the Chargers defeat the AFC East champion New England Patriots. I want to say the Buffalo Bills, but we didn't win the division. And you know what? It's good. It's okay. We got the job done. We got the win. And that's all that matters. And you know what else matters? The opening stats of this football game. I almost said hockey game. Speaking of a hockey game, we do have one between the Penguins and the Bruins. Penguins looking to get back in the win column after having their 6-game winning streak snapped thanks to a 2-1 loss to the Calgary Flames yesterday. But we'll talk about that on Penguins postgame. With that said, let's get right back to football talk and let's get right down to our stats, courtesy of the CBS Sports app. Download the app for yourself and follow the Buffalo Bills and all playoff teams still in the postseason, all postseason long. Reminder from the Saturday games, in case you missed it, the Los Angeles Rams beat the Carolina Panthers 30-31, so they are off to the next round of the playoffs as we speak. And the Green Bay Packers are off to the off season, as are the Carolina Panthers. Panthers lost 34-31. Packers fall 31-27. to the Chicago Bears. And currently going on right now, we have a 3-point game. 49ers and the Eagles going on right now. 13-10, Eagles leading the Niners as we speak. Let's get right back to our stats. That's what we want to get to, so let's get there. We're now 12 minutes into this segment. Let's get right to it. Time of possession, as always, the common starter. Bills, 34 minutes, 49 seconds. Jaguars, 26 minutes, 11 seconds. Both teams, first down total. First downs each. 11 passing for the Jags, 12 passing for the Bills. Both teams, 8 rushing first downs. Bills, no automatic first down penalty, but the Jags get at least 1 first down penalty, automatic first down. Speaking of the Jags, let's go to third down and fourth down. Efficiency, Bills, 7 of 14 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down, I should say. They were 7 of 14 on third down. Jaguars, 5 of 9 on third down at the end of the game. They went for it once on fourth down, didn't get it, so they are 0 for 1 on fourth down efficiency. Total yards in the game, Bills with a whopping 340 yards total on 62 plays called, averaging 5-point play. Jaguars, a whopping 359 yards total on 54 plays, averaging 6.6 yards per play. Trevor Lawrence threw for 207 yards. Josh Allen throws for 273 yards. Josh completed 28 of 35 dropbacks of his completion attempts, I should say. Trevor, 18 of 30 completion attempts, averaging 6.6 yards per pass. Josh is averaging 7.3 yards per pass. Both quarterbacks lost yardage off of sacks. Jaguars bagged Allen once, and he lost 12 yards as a result. Bills bagged Trevor Lawrence once, and he lost 2 yards. Rushing yards, 154 for the Jaguars, 79 yards rushing for the Bills, 26 rushes for Buffalo, 3 yards average per rush, 6.7 yards per rush average for the Jaguars on 23 rushes, 54 yards. Red zone goal to go efficiency, penalties, turnovers, interceptions, touchdowns, return yards, safeties. There were no safeties in this game, but there very well could have been. But let's get right down to the red zone first before we go all the way to turnovers and penalties. The Buffalo Bills, perfect in both categories. Goal to go efficiency at 2 for 2. And in the red zone, they scored on every opportunity they got. They went 3 for 3. Jaguars, 3 for 4 on red zone efficiency. But like the Buffalo Bills in goal to go efficiency, they were perfect. 2 for 2. Penalties off of penalty yards off of penalties. Buffalo with 7 penalties, 39 yards. Jaguars with just 2 penalties, 10 yards as a result. Turnovers by the Jaguars, 2 turnovers for the Jaguars. Both were interceptions. Bills with 1 turnover, that was a fumble loss on the kickoff from Ray Davis. The 2 turnovers for the Jaguars were the interceptions, 1 from Cole Bishop and 1 off of Shaq Thompson and Cole Bishop, the guys that picked off Trevor Lawrence. We move along here. 3 touchdowns for the Jags, both in the air. 3 touchdowns for the Bills, 2 rushing, mainly by Josh Allen, and 1 passing touchdown. That was a passing touchdown from Josh to Dalton Kincaid. No defense and special team touchdowns, no safeties. Return yards, 140 yards for the Buffalo Bills returning the ball, 75 yards for the Jaguars returning the ball. They had 4 kickoff returns for 75 yards. Bills, 4 kickoff returns, 119 yards returning the ball off of kickoffs. Interception yards, Cole Bishop and Shaq Thompson, 2 interceptions, 21 yards. No yards returned. The Jaguars turnovers there, they did not turn the ball over for Josh Allen. Josh Allen and the Bills, they turned the ball over once. Fumbled loss there. It wasn't Josh, which I'm good with. No punt yard returns for either teams. And there you have it. There are your stats for the game. Jaguars and the Bills. When we return, to Bills Postgame. We'll check back in on Eagles and Niners. I'll give you my prediction for the divisional round as to who I would like to see play Buffalo next week. Odds are you probably already know who I wanted to see Buffalo play next week, plus game balls of the game. But before that, we ran out of time here in our segment that I was trying to get going here. So we're going to do it after this quick break, which will be our final time out of the show as we continue to monitor the games. We'll go right up till halftime of the Eagles and Niners game, but I'll give you some final thoughts when we return. We'll go game balls of the game, and I'll give you my prediction as to who I believe the Buffalo Bills will win, or who I want the Bills to play on Divisional Sunday next week. Rather, Divisional Weekend. It could be Divisional Saturday, Divisional Sunday. I don't know. We'll see. All we know is Bills are moving on, and we'll talk more about it as Bills Postgame rolls on, heading for its wrap-up right after this. Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
Cianity Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on Cianity Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on Cianity Radio.
Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming up here on Bills Postgame, we're coming up on our two final breaks of the show. But I want to take this time here for at least a little bit of 10 minutes before we wrap things up here. I want to take this time to say, first of all, this has been a great game for the Bills. I mean, not a lot of games are going to be pretty, especially in the playoffs, but wow. We did what we had to do to get this win. Let's take a look at our playoff picture, shall we? I think we shall, because we're basically almost done here, but let's take a look at the playoff bracket here. So here we go. Here it is, playoff bracket. Here we go. So you got Bills in. They beat the Jags. Great. We're good. We're good till next week. So we play on to next week. That's good. Then we get either Denver or we get Pittsburgh or Houston. Either way, I don't care who we face. If we face Pittsburgh, fine. If we have to face Houston, okay. Yeah, I'll take it. I do really want to play the Patriots. I do really want to play the Patriots. I really do. I do really want to play the Patriots. I do want to play them. But there's just this thing in my mind that says, well, if the Patriots win, you're going to go play Denver. And then the Patriots will either play winner of Houston and Pittsburgh, which I'm fine with. And that's on the left side. However, on the NFC side, Rams have win and the Bears have won. So it could go Seattle and Bears, Rams. But it could also go 49ers, Bears, and Rams, Seahawks. We'll see. We will see. My prediction is the Bills play the winner of Houston and Pittsburgh. And I'm fine with that. But if we got to go play Bo Nix, we'll play Bo Nix. I don't mind. I don't mind playing Bo Nix next week. I really don't. I mean, no lead is safe, as we saw here in Wildcard Weekend. No lead in the league right now is safe. So I predict that when we talk to you next on Bills Postgame, I predict that it will be Bills versus Broncos in the divisional round. Will we win that game? I hope so, because that way we go to the AFC Championship game against either New England, Pittsburgh, or Houston. Or sorry, I should say not New England or not New England. If the Bills wind up playing the Broncos, they will play the winner of Pittsburgh or Houston versus New England, and that's only if New England wins against the Chargers, which would eliminate the Chargers. All right, folks. All right, I'm going to rapid fire here. Josh Allen is going to get the first one. Sorry, folks, I got to take a break. We'll come back with game balls of the game and wrap it up on the other side. I got to come back and take a break. So when we come back, game balls of the game, and we'll wrap it all up for you. But before we go, quick check-in on Penguins and the Bruins. They are at the end of a period, and the Bruins are on the power play heading into the second period with a 1-0 lead over the Penguins. And at halftime, it's 13-10, Niners and Eagles. We'll come back, get you all set up for that finale, as well as Chargers and Patriots. But I got to take a break. We'll come back in a little bit to give you game balls of the game and wrap it up on the other side. My final thought is this. Patriots beat the Chargers. We're playing Denver next week. I personally am okay with that. All right, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit as Bills Postgame rolls on. Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
Hi, Scott. It's Ali here. I just wanted to mention that I'm really enjoying the show and I'm really enjoying what you're putting together. And I wanted to just say I'm enjoying being a part of it as well. So please keep up the phenomenal work and make sure you guys keep this podcast going because it really suits you well.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo. Two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
All right, folks, welcome back to Bills Postgame. My name is Scott McGregor. Please call me Scott. Buffalo wins 27-24. They will likely play either the winner of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Houston Texans in Divisional Sunday next week or Divisional Saturday, whatever the case may be. The point is they are moving on to the Divisional Round after a 27-24 dub over the Jacksonville Jaguars, their first road win since 1992. Yep, you heard me. First road win since 1992. I already told you I'm fine with the Bills going head-to-head against the Broncos and the quarterback known as Bo Nix. But if we have to play Steelers or the Texans, we will see how it all goes down. We tried to get to this in our short third segment, but let's get right down to it here, which will be a little shorter considering we are nearing the end. We are actually at the end, rather, of Eagles-Niners. Eagles-Niners right now in the fourth quarter. Score right now 17-16 in favor of which means Patriots-Chargers coming up momentarily in an hour time right now. Basically 59 minutes from now. Well, actually, less than 59 minutes from now. Winner of that game will ultimately decide who's going where as we go into the AFC Wildcard game on Monday between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Houston Texans. Now, is Buffalo going to get a home game regardless of an outcome? Maybe, depending on how things go down. But like I said, I'm fine playing Denver if the Patriots win. But I'll be real honest with you, I kind of want to see Bo Nix play the Chargers. So let's go Chargers, and then I'll be fine with playing Houston or Pittsburgh. But if we got to play Denver, so be it. Let's get to game balls of the game. We're going to rapid fire here. Oh, and a quick check-in on the Penguins game. Boston still holds a 1-0 lead. We'll talk about that on Penguins postgame. as to what's transpired so far, as well as what transpires here in the third period as we speak. We'll talk about that on Monday following this show. Speaking of which, I know it's the playoffs, but happy Victory Monday to you, Bills Mafia. We have defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-24. And with that said, let's not waste any more time and get right to business. I also forgot we haven't done the play of the game yet. Well, let's get right there before we go to Game Balls of the Game, which is our player of the game segment. And just before we jump to the play of the game, if you want to get in on all the action over the course of the playoffs and into next season, there are a couple of ways you could do that. The easiest way is to send an email to sportsforbeginnerspodcast 8231@gmail.com. Use subject Bills Postgame and subject Game Balls of the Game or subject Play of the Game, and make sure you include Bills Postgame. With that said, you can also catch us up on Instagram, not on Instagram, on, you can catch my personal stuff on Instagram, especially rooting for this team that I root for, the Buffalo Bills, which I enjoy doing, as I do for the Pittsburgh Penguins, even when the time is going rough, and of course, even the Toronto Blue Jays. When the time was going great, things were looking good, but we lost in the World Series, but I still cheer for this team, no matter the outcome. And with that, you can get us on Discord or on WhatsApp. Use WhatsApp, please, if you have any, and I mean any problems with Discord, accessibility wise, etc. All right, play of the game time. We're going to get to game balls in a second. Play of the game. Well, it's going to be that the play that's good enough for my play of the game, it's going to be that Dalton Kincaid 15-yard touchdown pass from Josh Allen early in the fourth to put the Bills up 20-17. They would eventually go down 24-20 in the fourth, but then they got it right back as the Bills answered right back with a touchdown. Josh using his legs as he often does, scoring on the play. Matt Prater, good extra point, 27-24, which ended up being our final. And of course, Cole Bishop with the interception that ended the game, but the touchdown from Kincaid and Allen, good enough for my play of the game. And with that, let's get right to game balls. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're going to start on the Jaguar side. First and foremost, Travis Etienne is going to get the first game ball of the game. 67 yards, 6.7 yards average. He had a longest run of 26 yards on the ground, 10 carries. Trevor Lawrence also called his number 6 times for 31 yards. 18 yards his longest run, 5.2 yards average. Another guy that had a nice day, this guy, Bishal Tutin. I'm going to go with BT. 4 carries, 51 yards, 12.8 yards average per carry, 20 yards longest run. What a day for him. But Travis Etienne is going to get our first game ball of the game. The next one's going to go to Trevor Lawrence. Bills picked him off twice, 3 touchdown passes, 18 of 30 completion attempts, 207 yards. Bills bagged him once. And Parker Washington's also going to get a game ball of the game. 12 targets, 7 catches, 107 yards. But the longest catch that Parker Washington had for the Jaguars was a 34-yard catch, one of his 7 catches on 12 targets. He finished the game averaging 15.3 yards per reception, 107 yards at the end of the game. And last but certainly not least, on the defense, Devin Lloyd. 1 attempt, 5 tackles, not too shabby for him. He is going to get another game ball of the game. So you got Devin Lloyd, Parker Washington, Travis Etienne, and Trevor Lawrence, the game balls of the game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the Buffalo Bills, Josh and James leading the charge here. Both of them going to get game balls of the game. Josh, first of all, for his passing, 28 of 35, 273 yards passing, 7.8 yards average. Jaguars bagged him once, and he lost 12 yards. He didn't throw a pick. He threw a passing touchdown, scored 2 touchdowns on the ground, led the Bills in, James Cook led the Bills in yards, 46 yards, 3.1 yards average. His longest run was an 11-yard run. 15 carries, Josh called his number 11 times, 33 yards, averaging 3 yards, 2 touchdowns as of the 3 yards per rush. 33 yards, 11 carries for Josh. 10 yards was his official longest running game. So both Josh and James Cook going to get game balls of the game here for Buffalo. Brandon Cooks, 5 of 3 targets. 3 of 5 targets were caught. 58 yards, 36 yards his longest catch. Averaged 19.3 yards per catch. 58 yards he ended the game with. Kale Shakir, he caught all 12 of his targets and led the Bills in receiving with 82 yards, averaging 6.8 yards per carry. Yards his longest catch. But the true guy that led this team, even though he didn't have a lot of yards, 1 catch for Keon Coleman, 36 yards, 1 target. Okay, all right, that's all right. He kind of really led the charge there. And of course, Ray Davis, he fumbled the ball. I'm still going to give him some flowers there. I thought Ray did pretty well. I didn't like the fumble, so we got to clean that up, and hopefully he's okay. And last but certainly not least, we got to go to the defense before we wrap up game balls of the game. Shaq Thompson and Cole Bishop going to get a game ball of the game. Both guys with interceptions. Cole with only 2 yards. Shaq Thompson with 19 yards on his 1 pick. By the way, Shaq also had 6 tackles on 2 attempts, 1 INT. It was one of these players for Buffalo got the sack done, and that was Gregory Rousseau, who got to Trevor Lawrence for the only sack of the game for the Buffalo Bills. The only sack that Josh got was off of a guy named Josh Hines Allen. Josh Hines Allen got to Josh Allen, so it was like Allen versus Allen, and Josh Hines Allen got to Josh Allen once in this game. All right, folks, another quick check on the action here in Wildcard Weekend, as well as on the hockey ice. Bruins still leading the Penguins 1-0 in the third period of play. They have led for pretty much the entire game. The Penguins still without a goal. I also understand from our host Thomas McGregor of On the Ice and Behind the Benches that the opening goal of the game, scored by Tanner Janot, was called back because of a kicked-in shot or something. Therefore, the Bruins, Tanner Janot did not have a goal, but they have one now. Will that be all they need? We'll find out on the next edition of Penguins Postgame. But wrapping up here on Bills Postgame as we get you set for Patriots Chargers. I've made my prediction. I'm happy either way. Whether we got to play Bo Nix or we got to play Pittsburgh or Houston. The bottom line is Bills Mafia. We got the job done. We beat the Jags, and now we wait. A final quick check-in on the Eagle and 49er game. I'm going to join that game when we drop from this show. But before I rejoin that game in progress, watching the game, I want to say to you guys as we drop this on a Monday, I said we were going to drop it on a Tuesday, but guess what? We're going to drop it here on a Monday. So Bills Mafia, enjoy your victory Monday. The hay is in the barn. We've done all we can so far. But until we talk to you on Divisional Weekend, by the time we talk to you on Divisional Weekend, we will know who we're playing. But enjoy the rest of Wildcard Weekend. Right now, the Eagles lead the 49ers 19-17, but the Eagles are in trouble. 2nd and 10, 49ers on Eagle territory. It looks like Wildcard Weekend is going to live up to the hype, but we'll see what happens in New England versus the Chargers. And speaking of that, I got one prediction for you. Patriots win, Buffalo's going to play Bo Nix. Will that be in Buffalo? No, it will be in Denver. Patriots fall to the Chargers, and Buffalo will either play a home game against Houston, or they could travel to Pittsburgh, or Pittsburgh could travel to Buffalo. We don't know. That's what we don't know. We do know the Chargers, if they win that game, they will play Denver on Divisional Sunday, and the Bills will play the winner of Texans Steelers. But if the Patriots win, Bills play Denver next week, and it's about who is going to face the Pats. And this is my honest prediction. If that's how this plays out, we could see Drake May versus Josh Allen in the AFC Championship game this year. Niners in the red zone, but we are going to wrap it up here. So thank you so much for being with us. Play shout. We will talk to you after Bills versus to be determined in the divisional round. But thank you so much for being with us. Click like if you like what you're listening to. Click subscribe if you really like it. Tell all your friends. With a 27-24 win over the Jacksonville Jaguars, we'll catch up with you. 1 down, 3 to go. We got to get through divisional, and we got to get through the AFC Championship game to get to the big dance. So 1 down, 2 to go to get to the big dance. But to do that, we got to be healthy. And with that said, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for being with us. I will talk to you, Bills Mafia, on Divisional Sunday. Until then, go Bills, and I look forward to catching up with you again real soon. Thank you so much for listening to Sports for Beginners. If you would like to learn more about the show, you can visit the podcast Facebook page or visit the official website. You can also send us an email at sportsforbeginnerspodcast 8231@gmail.com. As we always remind you, it is not goodbye, it is until next time.